stream today, guys. I'm not a Japanese train schedule, Bob. Okay, sometimes we've got to be a few minutes late. I am human. Believe it or not, I am human. All right. So, it is our subscriber stream, guys. It's Thursday, and I want to say hello to those of you who are here. Mr. Coffee, especially our moderator, Merle Dixon, someone on sound. We got a whole group of people already here. Obviously, Bob. Is stream on? Those are the 3 words from Bob. Wasero's here. So this is the list of subscribers submitting games for today's stream, by the way, guys. Blobix from last week. Yabatis, Dragon Bee, Asterbait, Jim, Save a Dog. I think that's Save a Dog. I can't read my own writing. Mule Skinner and Merle. So that's already a lot. Wasero. Sorry. Go for good. Yeah, go. I can't read my own writing. Imagine trying to be someone else and reading my writing. You know, my lawyer has a paralegal. She's like, can't even barely read what I can write. I failed handwriting in 1st grade. That's my excuse. Whenever somebody criticizes it. Good 40%. True story. I got an F in handwriting in 1st grade. Very, very. I think that's the only class I ever got an F in anything in high school or elementary school. All right, college is a different story. But anyway, guys, we're good to go. A nice relaxing stream today. Game analysis. I had a really... You got a 45 in language literature. I had a really long day, even though I didn't do anything really super difficult. It's been nonstop since I woke up this morning, so just want to enjoy. No pressure. Just have a nice relaxing stream here. Going over some games with you guys. Mr. Coffee is our bit leader, not only our moderator, but our leader in donating. Not only our moderator, but our leader in donating. I can talk. Donating bits for the week. Mr. Coffee with 1,110. Jim with 670, Blobix with 600, Warnaki, WJ Loof, Fishrack, Cal, Merle Dixon, Asterbait, and HTFP. Guys, thank you for supporting the stream. For all of you that do support the stream, much appreciated. And for just subscribing. We have a very compact, generous group of devoted followers here. I don't have enough viewers, you know, as some streams, but the viewers that we do have are very devoted to the stream. I appreciate it. My own view of things is that I like to be kind of passionate and devoted to things that I do, and I think that I encourage that amongst you guys too. Anyway, so the point of today's stream is that we're doing game analysis. I've got submissions. I'm going to go back in history to like last week's Blobix submission. Yeah, so what's up, guys? We're going to get started in just a minute. I'm just reading the chat. Asterbait, what about your entry? Your entry. His entry. You're good in math? I'm the opposite. Well, I mean in college level. Well, Sarah. That's my other. I have a degree in arts, not in sciences. Anyway. I've told 100 times, Jim's not here, thank God. But I've told 100 times the story how, you know, I forgot what I was going to say. Man, I'm spacing. All right, anyway. Never mind. Coffee, I'll be ready. Yeah, I've got my coffee here. Coffee. Oh, I always tell the story how people always ask you at parties, are you good at math? You know, that's the automatic. I'm a chess player. What do you do? I play chess. Oh, you must be really good. Yeah, enough of that. All right, let's go. No, actually, I prefer arts to sciences. So, I'm a chess artiste. I'm just getting into the swing of things here. Do we have lichess in the title? Yes. All right. So we're starting slowly. Usually, the subscriber stream has the least mentions here. Got to go back a week to Blobix from last week. Blobix was like, wow, where is Blubix. There it is. Good memories. Subscriber games analysis. Thank you, Jim. Jim's here. Awesome. Yes. Every other week, not every week, I have a lesson at 8:30 on Thursdays, and Jim is the man. You reminded me to remind you to remind me, which is awesome. So, thanks for the reminder. Yeah, I have a lesson after the stream. Actually, I wrote down the wrong time even. I'm so out of it. It's supposed to be at 8:15, so I have to cut the stream, you know, around 8, pretty much on time. So good memories. And oh no, this is our game. Oh man. Whew, this is not a good way to start the stream. I didn't realize he had submitted the game against me. That's rough. All right, but again, we're having a nice stream. Astrobate, thanks for the donation. Hello, artist. These I don't know. These Pilsner Urquell are a little flat. I think it's Bob's fault. Bob sponsored I'm on my last one or last two on the Pilsner Urquells, but I'll drink it. Okay. So we got coffee and beer, guys. This is Blubix's submission from last week. We didn't get to. I'm playing the white pieces in a Sicilian Sveshnikov here, and I don't give him the opportunity, or many people the opportunity, to play the main line of Sveshnikov that often. I've never really like deeply analyzed playing white in the Sveshnikov. Basically, I'm not really an e4 player. I'm like a d4, c4, knight f3 player who occasionally plays e4. Like, it's kind of like baseball. Pitchers have different pitches that they throw, you know, and like some pitchers are primarily throwing fastballs, some are primarily throwing curveballs. You know, I'm basically throwing, you know, d4 65% of the time, or knight f3 and c4, and I'm just occasionally throwing out the e4 to keep everybody honest, you know. I mean, e4 isn't really... For example, I didn't actually play e4 in a tournament game until I was already a national master. I mean, my first e4 game was against John Curto, who was 2,500 at the time. It was like 1991, probably. I was already 2,200 USCF when I played literally my first game with e4. It was a draw. I was white in a deferred, Steinitz deferred against JC in 1991. But anyway, so I've never really learned the theory that deeply in Open Sicilians and stuff, and particularly the Sveshnikov. I do not really know what I'm doing. So here we go. You know, just going into the Sveshnikov. I've never played more than like one game, and I mentioned this before. My only game against a strong player in the Sveshnikov ever was like in 2001 against Dejan Antic. Literally, like, and I had to fight for a draw because I misplayed it. Knight c3, e5, knight b5. So with that all said, when black played d6 here, I played the Solanci variation, which is actually should be called the Perenni variation. So, long story I've told, but it's worth retelling. Bishop e3 is a move that belongs. You see here, Judith Polgar playing this twice, in 1993 and 2006. That's not a coincidence because this is a Hungarian move. It traces back to the late 80s when Bela Perenni was alive. He died in a tragic car accident in 1989. A very, very talented Hungarian IM. And there was a group of chess players traveling together. My friend and teammate János Rigo was actually the driver. But they had an accident, and Perenni was the only one who got killed from this group of chess players. It was a huge tragedy for Hungarian chess. So that was in like 1989. He was the creator of this variation, and I guess Polgar, you know, probably borrowed it to play that game you see there in 1993. But I have a friend who plays this with white, and I've seen him play it, but I don't know the theory per se. It's just a good way to get maybe out of book. Another interesting move here I saw, I don't remember who played it like knight a3. It's very hard to get out a book against something like the Sveshnikov. Can we leave book on move 7 or move 8 against a prepared opponent here? Difficult to do. So bishop e3 is one of those moves it's like a offbeat move, but I don't know what I'm doing. So a6, knight a3, b5. You know, I'm basically just Lodge Irvin played it in 1973, so who knows? Maybe he was the inspiration for Perenni. Knight d5, and now rook b8. And this is the best move. Check this out. That's weird. I feel like this transposed to something. Mathematic Chess, you can send me a message on lichess and include the game, okay? It's suddenly there's appearing a lot of games here, and I don't know. You know, it feels like we've got a move order transposition. So rook b8. Apparently, like Blobik's move is only move, best move, you know, all that stuff. Okay, I mean clearly I'm threatening bishop b6. So the only real alternative, because rook a7 is not available, I guess. What is there here for black? It gives you an incredibly narrow choice of moves, actually. Knight takes d5 or bust, right? You can play knight takes d5. This is inherently the most natural move. But Blobik's move has the best score. So he knows what he's doing. But he plays the Sveshnikov, he probably faced this move once or twice. It shouldn't be anything for white. So here I innovated because I don't know theory. Yeah, Mathematic Chess, it's best to submit it because we may or may not get to that many games. I've already got like 10 games and I have a limited amount of time. So people submit the games up to like a week early. But I'll try, you know, I'll try to do it if we have time. We'll see in beer. So white has no advantage, but I just got him out of book, and now I'm just making it up on my own. I didn't know what to do here. I realized that this is not, you know, such a great line for white. I played queen f3. It looks like I'm supposed to just take on f6, but this feels like, you know, what if I achieved with knight d5, knight takes f6? I mean, literally, it doesn't seem like. There's an old game, Velimirovich against Kosic, my friend. It doesn't seem like white's achieved anything by going knight d5, knight takes f6. We're like trading off a piece that's moved once for a piece that's traded once or twice. I mean, I've gone knight c3, d5 to trade off a knight that's moved only once. It's sort of insane. So I play this here, here. Structural change of position. Knight e7. So the whole position changes, and this pawn is no longer, or you know, let's say not this pawn, but this pawn on d6 is no longer backward. Anytime you play the black side of the Sveshnikov or Najdorf with this type of pawn structure, you know, you're basically happy when you're black. But first of all, the d file is closed, so I don't have pressure on his backward pawn, and obviously I can't have a piece on d5.
Well, yes.
I don't know why I just cued the yes sound effect, but I did. So c3, knight f5, and now this vital piece is under attack. My bishop on e3. So I remember looking at this for some reason. You know, after the game, I took a look. And it looks like my move is actually okay. I mean, there's definitely a school of thought about, you know, I really think I should seriously consider basically playing like this. Another move here that Blobix has, I guess this is no good because I have queen f6. So I'm not sure if he has other moves. h5 according to the engine, with the idea of h3, bishop g4. That's pretty nasty. But very committal. So probably h5, queen d1. No, my queen doesn't get in. Blobix reminds you of something. We're looking at your game from last week, and you'll want to see the replay. But anyway, it's worthy of considering bishop d2. Definitely. So I played this, which was probably good too. But I think that black is objectively good here. Now he hits another key move. It looks like, I mean, rook b8 was a key move, and now a5 was a key move. That's a great, great idea to be able to break with b4. Whereas, like, I think most people wouldn't have played that. Most people would have, like, probably taken on e3 or just developed routinely. Blobix finds a5, which kind of... Juicebox Wizard, good to see you. Thanks for being a subscriber. And I reacted a little passively with a3. Trying to hold up, b4. g6. And g6 is a good move. He's not in a hurry, and he's developing his pieces, and he doesn't have that problem with queen f6 anymore. This is like a great game by Blobix. I don't know how it was overall, but so far so good. Here, bishop d3, castles, and then I played g3. I mean, I'm surprised I played g3. I mean, I really don't know what I was thinking when I played that move. I mean, I saw, and we know that Blobix has an... I want to say it's a fixation, but if you've seen our recent games, it seems that Blobix has some kind of, familiarity with the idea of playing his knight to h4 or whatever. That this is a favorite theme. Mr. Blobix, with the black pieces to play knight h4 for some reason. But I feel like that's really kind of weird that I played g3 here. My first reaction, I think, should be to just castle. It's strange that I did that now in retrospect. I mean, I'm very concerned about knight h4, f5, just trapping my bishop and rolling me with pawns. So I did this. I mean, his knight is awkward here on f5 momentarily, but I think it's temporary. So bang, best move. Like, these are key moves. Rook b8, a5, and now knight e7 immediately threatened to roll me with f5, e4. It looks like it's taking candy from a baby, but he played this really, really well. I mean, I freaked out here with g4, but I mean, there's justification to my freaking out in this position. This is a simul game. I'm playing 25 players at the same time, and Blobix is one of the strongest. So, White's position is already just about strategically lost. This is literally, I mean, after g3, your knight had nowhere to go. That was the point of g3. So I basically almost forced you to do it, but it is an extremely strong move. But I'm basically facing f5, e4, and there's the backup plan of a queenside minority attack for black with b4. So in the sense of pawn structure chess, white is insanely in trouble here. You'd think, oh, it's even material, it's equal. It's not, because my d5 pawn has become, not a strength, but it's a liability. And he's got the break on the queen side and this expansion with the king side majority. So I'm basically, like, structurally screwed here. g4 it's a desperate attempt to try to, like, forcibly, talk him out of playing f5, but he's gonna blast me anyway. I thought with f5. This is what I would play with black, honestly, Apparently he misses a tactic here with knight takes d5. We both missed this skewer tactic. Knight takes d5, obviously, queen takes d5, bishop e7. So we start making human error here. Anyway, g4 was a bad move. It doesn't matter. It's not just a bad move because of knight d5. It's a bad move anyway because it's, like, radically weakening my position. I have to play something. I don't know what to play, though. I mean, seriously, he's got this. I think I'm just about lost in this position. I mean, after castles, bishop b7, what the heck is white supposed to do? I'm just losing a pawn for nothing on d5. Anyway, I can't look at this much longer, Blobix. It's very painful and sort of, I don't want to see it again. I'm sorry that you selected it, but... So I'm able to hang on, let's say. The way that Blobix played it, there's some sort of hope, almost. If I could play g5, I could lock the position and white would be alright. So here I open the A file, and again, if I had time to do this over again, I probably would play G5. You know, I mean, it's seriously like to stop F5 to me now, looking at this with a fresh perspective. My king is obviously a huge question mark, but anyway, if he can't open the position, I'll stay alive. Bob, what happened? He ruined the stream? How's that? H4. So I think G5, H4, F5, and I'm done. I mean, this is done now. You know, not stopping F5 was just catastrophic. So now it's just a matter of some cheap shots along the G file. I'm basically busted because of my king position and these powerful pawns that are just going to roll me with E4, F4. Is our stream working okay? Looks good. So bishop C4. And then this pawn's just crush it. There's nothing to see here, kids. It was just a circus act, you know, for white at this point. I'm just, you know, I guess this is a lower rated player. I could have swindled him, but positionally white is... You see, the problem is my king is in the center of the board. My rooks are not connected. And there's no real coordination. And basically his pawn structure now is just rolling me down in the center. I can't coordinate my forces. And he's pretty well coordinated here. Yeah, the stream needs questionable people. It's very important. So this was provocative, you know, a little provocative by Blobix. He starts to misplay here with 46 seconds to my 3 minutes. But it's deceptive because it's simul. My 3 minutes is actually like a few seconds. I have to move instantly. So apparently, like E3 is a mistake. He should play King H8. King H8 is a normal like King's Indian style move. Not that different from the Sveshnikov stylistically. E3, he's prying open the position. It looks reasonable. Just sacking a pawn for open lines. And surprisingly, I'm not quite dead here. But I have very, very big questions about white's position holistically. You know, I mean, I think that my king is... It's a miracle if white isn't lost here. Trying to play with your king in the center of the board in an open position. I mean, basically playing the white side of the open Sicilian Sveshnikov with your king in the center of the board. I mean, it's pretty mental, and that's what I've done here. It's unbelievable that I'm not just straight out lost. And actually, I wanted to trade queens because I was in danger, and the computer believes that I'm okay. But again, easier to play for black than for white now. And yeah, he found this, and I just resigned. My king is just fried in the middle of the board, and I was hoping for some sort of sacrifice, like rook takes g6 check, but obviously it doesn't really do anything, so I'm just giving up. All right, Mr. Coffee, thank you for the ban hammer there. And even though Blubix here, I resigned in an equal material situation, you guys can see that my king is I mean, what do you think about queenside castles at this point? Anybody on board for a queenside castle? Maybe I shouldn't resign. I should queenside castle for entertainment purposes only. Okay, guys, that was fun. Fun game from Blubix. I don't care. All right, I don't care if I lost. So Ubatis is up next. He's got to go back a ways. Wait, what? No. Ubatis. There it is. I got a bit too creative with my opening. Okay, now for the actual study containing game. This is it. Yubata said this is just for fun. Okay, he prefaced this. So don't take this game too seriously, guys. Spectacular Camel. I'm sorry that game was against me too. Blubix. That's the first time I've ever played Bishop E3, you know, and probably the only time I'm ever going to play Bishop E3 against a Sveshnikov in my life. Not a really inspiring move. All right. So Yubatis here is black, and he likes to play. What do we call this? The Mexican defense. Please don't make Sladgy analyze his own bad games. Yeah, I love it. I selectively have a tendency to forget my losing games. It's funny, you know. If you make me try to remember games from the past, from 10 or 15 years ago, it's odd though, isn't it funny how I always selectively forget the ones that I lost? I'm more likely to forget the losses. Knight F3, D6, and Bishop G5. Wow. So I've not seen this game yet. Again, Yubata said not to take this game too seriously. So I want to just draw your attention to like D4, D5, Bishop G5, F6. This is actually a standard opening. And the idea is if Bishop H4, black plays Knight H6, going to F5, trying to sort of hunt down this bishop on H4. So F6 can be a justified move. Yeah, Blubix, I'm sorry you didn't find the losing move there. But D4, Knight C6, you know, interesting move here might be Bishop G5. I've never tried that. I've really never faced the Mexican defense. It's funny because I have played E4, Knight C6, Bishop B5, which, you know, I played it against Tony Miles and John Curdo, but I've never thought to play D4, Knight C6, Bishop G5, which is sort of similar thematically. I do recommend playing Bishop G5 against all kind of unorthodox stuff. So I think that this move is certainly logical for white. Black's kingside is sort of frozen here without the knight coming to F6. He has to come up with a creative move. I mean, there's probably nothing better than transposing to some sort of Chigorin. So James says D4, Knight C6, D5 main. You know, I don't think that's true. You know, it's the only independent move. But I certainly personally don't like playing D5 with white. I would prefer to maybe transpose to like a Chigorin. But yeah, this is the most important independent move. If you look here, it looks like the majority of people play Knight F3 or C4. But I mean, you know, I don't know if the engine thinks D5 is best. Even the computer slightly prefers E4 to D5. So I think calling it like main is debatable. The Mexican defense. Well, we had the Mexican wall game, Blubix. I don't know if you recall this, but Yubatis is familiar with it because we did have one game on the stream that went in that variation that James is talking about. This line here. I don't know if white played H4, but we had one game where I made a lot of jokes about the border wall, and we called this the Mexican wall variation. I'm not sure. Blubix remembers like specifically like which variation this was. Maybe it was F5. I can't remember now. But there was one game where we joked about that. Yeah, the Mexican wall variation. So the wall of white pawns. The immigrants just like started crawling over the wall. It was a massacre for the wall. The wall had no chance. In the game, I think we analyzed. But Knight C6, Knight F3, D6, and now Bishop G5, something slightly different. And here, not Blubix, Yubatis played F6. Yeah, my weak square detector, I mean, I'm just sensing, like, sort of checkers when I see this. William Dan is raiding with a party of 7. Thank you for the raid. William Dan. This is a subscriber stream, guys. We're going over games from those who are brave enough and supportive enough to support our stream here on lichess and Twitch. Thank you, William Dan, for this raid. So anyway, Bishop G5. I think this, like, to me looks like H6 and G5, even though that seems crazy. The expert is this guy who's deceased, Zvonimir Mestrovich. I never got to meet Mestrovich, but he seems to be like the guy on the so-called Mexican defense. To me, it makes more sense though, even though it may seem crazy, to play the Grob here, like a tempo up Grob. I mean, this isn't just playing like the Grob reversed or whatever. You know, you're getting this move with gain of time, and I think if you get this extended fianchetto with a gain of a tempo, I mean, it starts to look like kind of a no, Bluvix. I don't think so. I think this looks like a reasonable move. We don't have as many weaknesses here. I mean, this covers the white squares, and this bishop will come to G7 and fianchetto cover the dark squares. And maybe black could even go into a Dutch type of formation with F5. So this is not nearly as awkward as F6. F6 by Yabatis, I mean, this is like, this really looks ugly. All these weak squares here all over the place from my perspective. So I hate it. So he went even further here. Surprisingly, Spielman has a game from 1992 where he actually did this, and he did E5. I mean, that's ugly for black. You know, I don't know. I mean, Picat here played, he's maybe afraid of G5, G4. He played E3, but that seems kind of feeble. Yeah, I mean, this response by Euro Picat here to play E3 is like ridiculous. I mean, clearly white should try to play E4 at least. I don't know. Picat was seriously afraid of G5, G4. No, most likely. I mean, maybe it's not that simple. Anyway, that's like for another story. That was Spielman's interpretation. And Yabata said, take this game with a grain of salt. But he played G5. Alright. And now obviously Bishop G7. I mean, I'm expecting H5 here. You have to go with the extended pawns, I think. And of course we can look at stuff like Queen D3 threatening mate in 1. Black should be able to manage somehow there. So if we play H5, Queen D3, what's Black's move? I'm thinking Rook H6, obviously. Physically defending. Yeah, Arsenal. I don't like your chances for getting the game in. But we'll put you on the list for argument's sake. I've got to leave pretty promptly. I've got to leave pretty promptly for a lesson after the stream at 8 o'clock Eastern time. I don't want you to stay up, you know, too late so you miss work tomorrow or something to try to watch it. Queen D3. Oh, you got tournament game tonight. Actually, oh crap, it's 12 o'clock. Did you play? And if so, how did it go? How did your league game go? So this is interesting. Check out this variation. H4, Queen G6 check, King D7. Man, total insanity. D5, H takes G, draw by repetition. That'd be a funny end to the game. You played and we won the trophy for the second year running. Wow. Versus a 148. Good job. Arsenal victorious in his team match tonight. Okay, so congratulations there. This is a funny variation. So he played Bishop G7. Oh, we've got your own Picat. E3. So Yabata's here lucky that white plays this like unassuming move E3. Obviously not that critical. Now H6. Passive. Yeah, I mean, you got to go for it here, I think. Grab some space. Why be afraid? I mean, I know he can threaten mate in 1. It's actually not mate in 1 now. There's King F8, so... No, you've got a legitimate threat to play H4 here. Yabata's... I'm serious. I mean, this h5 is a better move than h6. h6 is... h6, why are we making all these pawns on dark squares? Every single pawn is going to be on dark squares. In this position, it's becoming literally like checkers. All the white squares are weaknesses. Too many pawn... Alright, he said not to take it seriously. But I have to take it seriously. That's my job. So f5. At least we got some kind of control of the white squares. White is playing the Caro-Kann defense. You know, it's like the Caro-Kann defense versus the Dutch. Okay. Imagine if you ask somebody at this point, and it's always fun to do this. If you ask somebody at this point, like, what was the opening to this game? You know, could you guess what this was? Like a d4 knight c6? It's the Caro-Kann versus the Dutch. Neobatis is good in coordination. So once he gets out of the opening here and starts coordinating himself, if the opponent is lower rated, he should have a good chance. Oops. London is a good guess. London, yeah, good guess. And it transposes to Caro-Kann-like structures. So white just loses a piece. Whoops. Piece for 2 pawns. And that's my rule of thumb. You know, for like up 2 pawns, it's okay to trade queens. And definitely if you're up a piece for 2 pawns, it's okay to trade queens. Not the only move, but, you know, clearly. Oh, the white squares aren't a problem now. Like, everything's under control. That was nice that he helped black develop like that. Whoops. So the white square control is not an issue anymore in black's position. Anyway, guys, that's it for this game. This was a quick one. But anyway, it was aesthetic and funny, and I'm glad that we have a shorter game. So Arsenal. Alright, so we got 2 games down. We got 8 more to go. Dragon B, Asterbait, Jim, Save a Dog, Mule Skinner, Merle. Actually, it's more than 8. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9. Nobody else submitted a game because we're not going to have time for more. Alright, so Dragon B. Thanks, everybody. Check out my eBay page. We've got very exciting new retro items. The $6 Million Man is on sale. Asterbait might just pick it up. I'm not sure. $6 Million Man. Is anybody here old enough to remember that show? Actual $6 Million Man action figures. Retro items on my eBay are for sale. Mr. Coffee's like, yes. Yeah, really old school. Alright, Bishop F5. Anyway, let's go back to the next game. Dragon B. B. There it is. Below is a game of mine. I'm playing with black that I'd appreciate being analyzed on this Thursday stream. Dragon B does not really sound like this, but anyway. Game analysis request. Let's go. So, he's playing with black. Asterbait, you like the $6 Million Man? You remember that? Steve Austin? Was that the name of the actor? Alright. This is... Alright, this is Dragon B. Dragon B last week, it was a nice job with the white pieces in a Catalan. Steve Austin was the character's name. Who was the actor that played the $6 Million Man again? I should know this. This is my eBay item for sale. I'm getting desperate. Lee Majors, right? But who was the $6 Million? What, the Bionic Woman? That was it. The Bionic Woman. No, you're thinking of the $1 Million Man. Siddle fan. That's like some wrestling thing, man. Totally. You're just a baby. You are too young for this. The Bionic Woman was she was hot. What was her name? Alright. I'm getting old if I think the Bionic Woman was hot. Anyway, she was hot when I was a kid. Anyway, knight f3, knight c6, bishop b5. Wow, in France he's a $3 billion man. That's funny. Bishop e5, a6, bishop a4, knight f6. Mainline Roy Lopez. We rarely get these in our submissions. I mean, it's there's such a trend to playing knight f6 at the highest levels, actually all levels. The Berlin defense has really changed the landscape for the Spanish game, and I think a lot of people are just playing that, so I think a6 is a little bit not as trendy as it once was. Having said that, the Marshall defense, in particular, the Marshall Gambit for black is still good. So there's many different options. Feels like more has been invented for black than for white. And that's the end of the story, right, Arsenal fan? My friend Jose Garcia Gonzalez from Mexico, who lives in Spain. He's in Barcelona. He plays knight f6, or no, he played it. My friend Julian played it too, and these guys call it the refutation of chess. That was, I remember. It's just a refutation of chess. It refutes like 75 years of opening theory, but okay. A6, bishop a4, knight f6, castles, knight takes e4, and this is interesting because now we get into something completely out of fashion. The open game, the open Spanish. I would say like 20 years, 15 years ago, this opening was still kind of fashionable, but really, like, you just don't see people playing the open variation of the Spanish because there's too many other good variations, basically. It's gone out of fashion because there's just too many good options for black, I guess. Knight takes e4, d4, and now he plays an unusual sideline, bishop e7. $6 million not enough for French minds, absolutely. $6 million in the old francs for $10,000. That's nothing. That's a joke. Yeah, you have to change the name. They should have made it like something like non-numerical in France. Blobix, because it's never gonna work. 6 million euro, man. If they ever do a remake, it won't be a problem with the euro in place. But so I wonder what it was in Germany. Bishop e7. German marks, wouldn't be so easy either. D4, so bishop e7. This I remember seeing. I thought it was Levon play this move. Am I wrong? It looks like I'm wrong because I don't see any Aronian games here. Though this, yeah, the very expensive man, it's something like that. They've got to make a, yeah. But bishop e7, I don't know why this is familiar to me. But I'm only seeing Caruana Erdos and nothing else. Rajabov a couple times. Funny. It's possible there's a game that's not in the lichess Opening Explorer because it feels like I've seen this somewhere in a not so distant past. White now plays rook e1 and then f5. Okay. I think that's in where I've probably seen this most recently. Not a new book. The last time I saw this position was the old German Sportverlag. Does anybody have those books? Blobix? The German Sportverlag publishing house, like series of chess opening books from the 80s. This was like one by I think it was one Soviet grandmaster. I want to say like Swayton or Taimanov or somebody. I don't remember. They did one on the Spanish, and it's in there. So this is a book position. Yeah, there's a big series of books in German from the 80s on all different openings. Really complete. Like one of the best of its time. Obviously, you know, I don't know how, you know, the French relationship with Germany was, you know, in the post-war, but maybe you guys didn't get on the best terms. Yeah, you see them around though. You know, it's like a published in Berlin in the 80s. Tons of books. You see them in secondhand markets and stuff like that. I've seen them in Hungary, and I've also seen them in the United States. So they're like worldwide. D takes e5. This is supposed to be good for white, obviously. Castles, bishop b3 check, king h8. This all looks like theory, actually. Knight c3. And look at the score. Only 11 games. It's like a sub-variation. It's like a sub-variation. Just... We're getting very close to like a Faulty Towers episode now. I don't want to go there. Okay. Knight c3, knight c5, bishop d5. So, yeah. Just the out-of-book variation that's not great for black. You can see white's domination in the center. I mean, the d5 point in particular. Bob, check out Faulty Towers. Okay, have you ever watched that? British comedy? Like the best British comedy series ever? Yeah, important, you know, cultural reference. No, 9/11 was yesterday, Bob. We missed that, thankfully. All right. Knight c3, interesting though. White finds this move. Knight c5, keeping pieces on. Bishop d5, and then knight b4. Speaking of Faulty Towers, John Cleese recently took a lot of heat over some kind of anti-immigrant statements. You know, kind of keeping with our Brexit discussion. We could keep up on all the political stuff. Knight b4, bishop c4, and b5. Wow, we're gonna fianchetto over here. So Dragon B getting really active. I like this, but you know, our knight is gonna have to hit the road. Yeah, Bob, you're really into the conspiracy theories today. You must have missed having no stream yesterday. Try to get it in today. We're not going to go there today. Knight d5, d6. No, knight d5, white really owning the center here. You know, it's surprising. I think white is just clearly better in this position. But at the end of the day, the chess engine only thinks that white's advantage. Let me check what mine says. It's like 0.3. I mean, seriously, that's like striking. On the surface, it just looks like white is just owning the d5 square. I mean, that would give him like a lasting advantage. Backward pawn on d7. But somehow black has this sort of, I don't know what to call it, like unorthodox setup with b5, bishop b7, queen e8, maybe queen out here. I would think that actually g5, g4, spawning memories of a famous game from the most instructive chess games ever played. Knight e6, g5. This was a most instructive chess games ever played. Boleslavsky game. Very cool game where he outflanked white. In that case, black had the bishop pair though, and here, you know, he doesn't have the bishop pair advantage. So d6, and then pawn takes d6, bishop d6. So if he takes, speaking of bishop pair advantage, if white takes this, I think this has got to be a dark square. Bishop suddenly appears to be kind of dominant. That appears to be consistent, you know, for the position, trying to profit from having a bishop pair advantage, you know, something like that. Still not that easy though. But as I said, I mean, if we have time to play knight e6 and play g5, we can just kind of outflank white, and maybe black has, g5, g4, chasing his knight away from the center. That's my best guess. I think it's kind of weird for Blavix to play, not Blavix, but Blavix was last, the other game, but Dragon B to play d6 here. In a way, it's weird. In a way, it's not weird. I mean, he's got a strong pawn on d6 he's facing, and he's got a backward pawn on d7 that he's trying to get rid of, but if you're going to lose your bishop pair, it's going to be sort of dicey. So I think this really... This is my choice. I'm going g5, man. Boleslavsky all the way. Just blockade, and then just live with it, you know? Live with it. g5, g4. It's really solid for black. So giving up the bishop pair, you know, there was kind of shaky, but the guy takes with the pawn and like lets him take with the bishop. Now this knight just sits here. It's sitting there, but it's not doing anything, you know? And now black keeps his bishop pair. I was thinking of bishop g5, obviously, but there's queen d7. Everything's in order now. Black's house is in order. And look at those bishops. White made this happen to himself. And obviously black's just waiting to play knight e4. So that totally changed the whole position. Yeah, this is a bit of a surprising move, knight e7. I mean, it's like Blavix's Sveshnikov. Obviously the knight on d5 is a dangerous piece, but it's sort of hanging out in thin air now. It's not even supported by a pawn or anything, so I would play this, queen d7, and connect my rooks with, you know, rook a e8 next. I think the black can look forward to at least an equal game. Unfortunately, we'd love to play queen e8, but, you know, he's got discoveries and stuff there, so that's about the best I could do. I mean, knight e7 looks okay. White doesn't have bishop g5 here. No, bishop d5. All right. Look at that bishop. White is slowly losing his grip on the center here, is what's happening. And black's taking over. Oh, that's kind of ugly. Wow. So, Blavix, not Blavix, why do I want to keep saying Blavix? Blavix is in the chat, but I do that a lot. Dragon B. I mean, I admit the knight on f4 is pretty strong, but he's not actually threatening anything. You know, I mean, this is not a threat. Obviously, he's threatening... Okay, he is threatening b4. He's threatening to threaten knight e6. But again, I think you have time to play queen d7. And we'd have to calculate weird lines like b4, knight e4, knight e5. But again, maybe a queen sacrifice. Still, it's not really clear. You know, this might actually be bad for white. I'm not sure. The bishop capture is definitely a mistake. You're just flat out giving up a bishop for a knight in an open position. I mean, I think this is a tangible mistake. Bishop takes f4. I would not consider doing that. Still, black is probably okay enough to like draw, but you gave up a big advantage there. I mean, you have to admit your knights are well placed. You know, those are pretty knights, but they don't have permanent outposts except maybe e4. Even that's not permanent because he can chase it out with f3. The only thing going for you here, I guess, you know, the symmetrical pawn structure, but I would think he'll lever your queen side at some point at a4, and even your pawn structure might be worse than his. That bishop on e5 becomes pretty strong, unopposed. Open the position for the two Bs. So this has changed like very, very much over the last couple of moves. You know, it seemed like black was doing really well, and now the position starts to open up. White has a better pawn structure. White has the two bishop, maybe for the endgame advantage. Maybe here in the middle game. So Dragon B, yeah, I mean, this is a really passive move. He's got 4 minutes, his opponent 8. I mean, I know that he could potentially play queen d4. But I mean, if you analyze a little bit here, you might even see like long variations like queen d4, c5, bishop takes g7 check, king g8. And black's actually winning a piece there. Or not. Am I lying to you guys? Let's go further. Queen d4, c5, bishop g7 check, king g8. Queen e5, rook e8. Queen f5, king g7, rook e4. Let's take a look at this. Queen d4. Let's not white's move. My bad. It would help if it was white's move. All that for nothing. So black to play. This is ridiculously passive, man. That's your best piece on e4. It's hard though. I mean, you want to get rid or do something about that bishop on e5. Yeah, this is tough. Maybe the other knight to f6. Actually, if you want to move a knight, I mean, it should be that one. Then you're thinking about this, not an option. Maybe this move, you know, the other knight to f6. It's actually hard for black to play here, but you know, you don't want to play c6. You don't want to play this and just drop a piece to bishop takes d5. You know, even though it's possible you might have rook d8. I mean, I would look at this at least and consider it, you know, if it's an option or not. Because if you could get to a situation like this, I think you transform the position massively with opposite colored bishops. Black might be better at this point. You know, you might be able to trick your opponent into winning a pawn, you know, but going into a bad opposite colored bishop position where you have the initiative. It's a good practical try. I'm not sure. See what the engine thinks. The engine thinks I'm lying. It sacks its queen. Oh, snap. Yeah, this is too many pieces. Oh my god. Whoops. Alright, never mind. Count the pieces, guys. Doesn't work. Dragon Beast says queen c8. It's the same thing, but different. No, queen c8 is no good. Oh, you're talking about the other position. Okay. No, this is hard. I guess I would go knight f6. Here. The other knight. Yeah. But Dragon Beast slowly made concessions. This is really passive. Oh, this guy was just mowing you down. Those diagonals. It's beautiful. A non-1973. A non-1973 had 2 inaccuracy, 17 centipawn loss. Yikes. Dude is like 1,000 in bullet. 1,500 in rapid. 1,600 in blitz. And 1873 or 1837 in classical. I mean, I don't know. You know, I mean, that's an often computer cheater there. 17 centipawn loss. What was his time control? I mean, I'm a little suspicious, but he didn't play the opening that well. I don't know. I would have a look at this guy's games, you know, and just double check he's not a cheater. Queen b3, c6. We're really passive here. Rook c1. GM Creekor. I don't know. Is it a Brazilian guy? I don't know who it is. No. Luana. Dragon Beast just lost here. I don't know too many players from Brazil, like Rafael Leitao, one of the only ones. I am like older generation. I don't know any of the young players from anywhere, except for Hungary. Okay, so Dragon Beast just fell apart here. But I mean, I think that we saw there was a systematic sort of meltdown. Dragon Beast started playing passively, you know? Just really no reason for him to go passive in this game. Alright, that was a long one. Asterbait is up next. Asterbait. Yeah, well, thanks for sharing a game where you lost, actually. Thank you for submitting a game where you lost, Dragon Beast, because like a lot of people like to put just their like game where they played great, and it's nice to see somebody submit a game where they simply lost. Because most people are embarrassed to show their losses, including myself. But we had to see one of my losses in the first game. White's play there was a little too good to be 1,000 in bullet chess. So I would be suspicious of that guy. But having said that, you have to really, like, you know, weed out the, you know, the suspicions and see, you know, he could be a cheater. Anytime you see like only 2 inaccuracies and almost perfectly played game, I would be a little paranoid. This is Asterbate versus Flactus. E4, E5, knight F3, and then C6. So this move actually has some sort of followers. The point is, in the event of knight takes E5, black has queen E7, right? And then he'll play some kind of demented Petrov. One day when I was bored, which I don't have time for anymore, being bored, that is, I was looking at like weird moves for black, you know, thinking, like, I always wanted this to, we had Fuchsia maybe mention this once. This is the kind of move that you always say, oh, maybe this would work, you know, before computers became really good. I remember sitting in and thinking at the board, like, oh, could bishop c5 be some sort of playable move, you know? I mean, c6 is another move that, like, you know, probably saw some play in the era before maybe computers were really strong. But this makes some sense, because on knight takes e5, you can still play queen e7 and win the pawn back. So it's, like, bad for black, but not, like, losing directly. This position is obviously a problem in the long run, but black doesn't lose immediately. So we're just going to castle, play rook e1. I'm not sure, you know, if this is even playable. So Uber Driver said, I never thought about that. A6, speaking of weird moves. That's cool. A6, good suggestion. The anti-Roy Lopez, you could call it. The Uber Driver defense. I think a lot of people will agree that c6 is more useful than a6, probably. But again, another situation where maybe, you know, maybe it's not that stupid. I mean, d4 might be a better move. Like here, here, here. We now have another option to play like bishop e3. In fact, like, probably I lied to you guys, you know. Probably like knight takes, queen e7, d4 is the best move. As you'll see, there was one game here. d4, d6, knight f3, queen takes e4 check. So the difference is that we might be able to hit the queen with knight c3. We can play bishop e3. That's an option. What does the Stockfish say here? Bishop e2 is actually better than bishop e3. Bishop e2. Yeah, bishop f5, novelty. Damn, dude, that's sharp. Bishop f5, theoretical novelty. And then knight a3, double exclamation point. Knight a3 is like one of those moves that you'd be like, oh, that can't be right. You know, that feels wrong to like compromise and put my knight on a3. I think we just invented a new opening live on stream. The Uber Driver defense. Oh, this is c6. How does this shake out with a6? e4, e5, knight f3, a6. Knight takes d4, queen e7, d4, d6, knight f3, queen e4 check. So what is the computer? Same thing. Bishop e2 is better than... So let's see this variation. Bishop e3, bishop f5. a6 versus c6. Yeah, I mean, bishop d3 kind of makes sense. But why did it not make sense in the other position? Like, why was c6 not the best move here? Knight here, queen e7, d4, d6, knight f3, queen e4 check, bishop e3, bishop f5. Again, why is this not the best move? Maybe it is the best move in all variations. Okay. I mean, you might have to trade pieces, but at least you develop with tempo. You can't really complain about that. I wanted to play like knight c3 so bad. Guys, please support the stream. Don't forget to donate. We do have plenty of subscribers. I appreciate it. What do we have for viewers right now? hovering around 30. Viewership has been slightly down, although tonight it's not bad for a subscriber stream. So if you guys want to do us a favor by telling your chess friends about the stream, encouraging them to watch, even if they don't subscribe, I would really appreciate, you know, increasing our viewership a little bit, exposure. Again, thanks to everybody who supported the stream. You can also donate, make a streaming donations with the Panda gift down below on Twitch, or you can make a regular PayPal donation either through this link on Twitch or on my YouTube channel, Video Chess Training on YouTube. Thanks, Asterbait, for the donation, sir. Anyway, back to the reality. So we're going to take a look at this. C6, bishop c4. Now if queen f6, we transpose to Asterbait's favorite Paschall defense. Queen e7 also would transpose to something, I'm sure. Georgy Orlov. Different one. All right, so h6. Oh my god. Knight takes e5 or bishop takes f7 check. The computer actually wants to play bishop takes f7 check. Didn't we see some kind of long ago, like a couple, not long ago, several weeks ago, there was like a game between two very strong women players. It was like Stefanova versus Kostyuk. There was a game with like bishop takes f7 check, king f7, something very similar, but not the exact same position. Like almost the same thing, like a kind of messed up Philidor, where the same sort of sacrifice takes place. Yeah, the king walk variation. This is probably not healthy for black here. Oh, apparently this is sound though. You can do that. You can take on e5 here. Wow, that's amazing. He can do this. Black is winning after king e5. Who would have thunk it? No problem. We just walk out there, walk back. I'll make accounts for my cats and they can watch. Well, there are accounts for people who stream their cats live, right? That's really demented. But anyway, whatever. I don't know. Knight e5 is interesting. So Asterbait just takes. Wow, it's like that. Wow, it's like that Kostic gambit in the. This is weird. I was talking to Asterbait earlier about this position: e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4, knight d4. You know, and then you have this kind of thing with here. That's a known line that Bronstein commented on, but we sort of same theme here. Obviously, there's no black knight on d4 in this position. No black knight on d4, but yeah. Okay, this is for entertainment value only. So basically, if knight f7, you have queen g2, rook f1, and that's a concession. I have to play that. Queen e4 check. Queen e2, king e2. Oh, that's awkward. So even this is like playable. The point is rook h7, bishop d3, winning the exchange. Now he has g6. This is amazing. g6. Black is better. That is a entertaining variation. Uber driver. Oh yeah. Knight f3, f5, bishop c4. Steinitz played that. Knight f3. Oh no, not that. I'm sorry. I'm crazy. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4. You can play also like bishop c4, f5. So guys, let's see what happened here. Just simply goes back. Just when I thought Asterbait was going to go for that rook, he got sort of safety-minded. interesting. It's like a good practical move, Astrobate. You don't go for material. You're just playing where the guy's king is stuck in the center of the board. You know you have rook g1 in the event of queen takes g2. Ultimately, white can castle queenside. Yeah, he's just letting him have g2, you know? That's kind of cool. And you just play. You know your king is safer than his king, and you don't treat the position in a materialistic way. No, I think this is as good as anything, man. So nice job. No, I'm not sure I would chase that queen from there, from on h3. I feel like at this point maybe Astrobate's getting a little bit fancy. Then again, you need to find a move. Uber Driver suggested, you know, d4, but okay, first we have to solve our bishop. We don't want to give it up for nothing like that. And Bob's constantly giving it up for nothing. And I mean, I'm tired of that, you know?
Give me a Y. Give me an E.
Oh, that was just... That was... Kasparov versus David Letterman. Yeah. Was that... Oh my god, I've seen like... Justin Sarkar did that against Alexander Ivanov. It was like queen takes d5. I mean, to try to play like queen e6 check in the Scandinavian against a grandmaster is like ridiculous. Or queen e5 check or something like... Yeah, Letterman type of thing. Yeah, it's just... That's mental. So Astrobate, like, why not just like bishop b3? Like, bishop b3. This looks good. Yeah, I like this. This is just practical. Now we're going to plan on castling queenside, and we'll be safer than the enemy king. Alright, so queen h3, rook g3. Oh. I apologize, Astrobate. I'm an idiot. I didn't realize this queen was trapped. Holy crap. Did anybody here watch all the seasons of Fargo? I think I keep reminding myself when I say certain things of this one. The one character, the last season of Fargo, was it the last season? Where there's the black guy who's he's like a hitman, or but he talks really, you know, he talks in a really intelligent way, like he's college educated or whatever. Sometimes I sort of remind myself of, I don't know who the actor is. Yeah, the guy with the fro. He's a famous actor, actually. I don't think he has a fro normally. Like, he's a really good actor. But I just I reminded myself of that character just now. Yeah, I don't even realize, like, rook g3 just traps the queen. I'm like, oh yeah, Astrobate, you don't need to play rook g3. I just dismissed this move. Traps the queen. Okay, it's not good. I believe you. Oh my god. Yeah, I mean, it's totally... I didn't see that this is actually literally trapped. It's a good thing I even realized, you know? Alright. So Astrobate just took his queen out. Yeah, he's got to sack the queen and it's over. It's just... Why would you take away from the center here? Open the F file. He's thinking dynamically. Yeah, this is... Ouch. Alright. I can't watch this anymore. At least the black king got the safety, whatever that's worth. But it's basically just a massacre. Check. Another nugget. Peace nugget. Ouch. The mad scientist. Astrobate now takes time for d3. He's tempting him to rook e8. I mean, it's gotta be like, he's like, I'm gonna trick this guy into going rook e8 with my bishop on f4. And I'll just take it. Swear that's gonna happen. I told you it was gonna happen. It happened. I knew it. Rook e8. And Astrobate didn't see it. He didn't see queen takes e8. He always just like believes the opponent. I saw another game like that very recently from Astrobate where, you know, I literally knew this was gonna happen. Except I thought Astrobate would see queen e8. But he just like believed his opponent and lost his queen back instead. Whatever, you know, it's all good. We're up lots of pieces here, so it doesn't matter. Autopilot. Knight f7. Alright, man. Now you got him in the mating net. Doesn't miss the instant mate there. Good game, dude. Anyway, that was fun. So we got Jim up next. Jim, Save a Dog, Mule Skinner, Merle. Good 40%. And then if we can get time, Math and Arsenal. We've got an hour and 10 minutes or so. Okay, Jim's up next. What do we got? Do you think this is like a tech stream or something? Is that Bob? Alright, this is not a tech stream. Tech assistance. Recent game if you have time. Credits to Fuchsia. Wow, okay. Game for Thursday. Van Geet opening. Don't tell me. I thought you were going to start playing the Van Geet with white. That would fit, man, because you're playing B3 all the time. You should do the other Gababa favorite opening. This is Jim's new opening with white. Knight C3. Fuchsia's here, and she gets credits for this. WJ Lou, thanks to donation, 200 bits. Mr. Coffee, the leader. Jim in second place, rated 700. Blobix's rating is up to 600 this week. Alright, so Knight C3, D5, E4. Okay, so this is mainline Dunst opening. I never like playing D4. I hate closed positions. Strange from someone who used to play the King's Indian. Actually, I just hate closed positions in Blitz, really. So I prefer playing D takes E, but I think that theoretically speaking, probably this is the best move. I had a game I remember I drew in a US Amateur Team Championship against a guy who was like, he was rated 1900 or something, and I was a master, and I couldn't beat this guy who played Knight B1. It was like, okay, you know, that's actually not that bad of a move. I'm surprised that more people don't play that, actually. I could not find anything, you know, special to refute this. I mean, you can't refute it. Look at the score, though. It's, like, stupid. Why is black, like, scoring, like, so well here? I mean, this should be okay. It's just like colors reversed. There's no reason this shouldn't be sort of reasonable for white. I mean, it's just like flipping colors. It really, you know, it's like the Mexican defense or whatever. This cannot be that much worse than 92. There's less coordination problems. You don't have all these pieces like, hey, look, everybody wants to be on E2. You know, this is the problem with this opening. No, it's what I call like the one square. Every piece wants to be on this one square position. Merle Dixon says, I think I looked at one of your games and it was really nice. Is that an Arsenal fan? Alright, Knight E2, E5, main line. So Fuchsia gets credit for some sort of prep help here. So Knight G3, I've looked at this with the Abbadis. This is... Apparently Knight G3 is the main move. Very important position here for the Dunst opening. Wow, Stockfish says that C3 is white's best move. Like, seriously, dude. Maybe we're revolutionizing the Dunst opening. I hate Knight G3. I can't even begin to tell you guys how much I hate the move Knight to G3. I mean, I don't want to put my knight on G3. I hate when people do that. You're just asking for H5. So... You know, and I know like stuff like F4 people play, and you'll see people who play G3 sometimes. That's just like a reverse King's Indian. But if we can play this move, seriously? I mean, that makes some sense, trying to control the center. C5. Reprintsev. Wow, Reprintsev is playing 2018. Reprintsev, the master of weird openings. This guy is from the Ural Mountains in Russia, and he lived in Washington, D.C. for a while. But he played like the Albin counter gambit and all this off the wall stuff. B3 Blubix. You should check out Raprincev games. He beat me with a B3. The only player ever to beat me in a B3 Sicilian. It was an endgame though. It was like a rook endgame, and I botched it. So Zoli Varga has a game with black here. Okay, C3 doesn't seem to have that much independent value after C5, but we'll see. So H5, anyone? Only played in 2 games. Very interesting gambit for black in this position. Fuchsia's done a study. You guys might want to take a look. I mean, you can understand like why a lot of people are gonna play like G6 in this position, I would think. It does give black time though. Sorry, give white time to maybe set up on the light square diagonal against F7. Again though, it's the sample size of 5 games. It's a little difficult to understand why white is 5-0 in this position. Is it just me? I mean, of course, white has 2 pieces developed, black doesn't have any developed, but if you look at Stockfish, it says it's almost equal. I mean, it's just coincidence, I guess. Also the fact that black was the higher rated player. No, not so much, actually. I mean, white was the higher rated player, yeah. White was the higher rated player in almost every single game. Not so much Andreikin was not. But that's weird. So G6, H5 is a really cool gambit. I don't know if Fuchsia, did you check this out? H5. Knight takes H5 with compensation for black. I've actually referenced this before. We can sack a pawn. You know, I know that the compensation seems kind of nebulous. The nebula. But, time is money, friends. It's like taking candy from a baby. No, Knight G3, this is a sound move. You know, this is probably like the soundest move for black. Bishop E6. You don't want him setting up on that diagonal with Bishop C4. And so F6. And it's a little bit like the elephant gambit. Bishop B5 check, Bishop A4, Bishop B3. Try to control the white squares. I've never seen this far, but this makes complete sense. Any way you can get there to get rid of that bishop, the white square bishop. So it appears to be this. Critical line. Danilo Milanovic playing black against Farrokh Bistrich. So this is a couple of good players. Another game here. Eric Prier against Pytel. Black won both games. Interesting. Knight A6. Bishop B3. So this looks kind of critical. There's also Ray Kaufman against Volozhin from 2007. So a couple of decent games. I know Ray, Larry's son. So he was in Budapest for a while. Yeah, this is interesting. Knight E6, bishop takes E6, knight takes E6. Pretty logical continuation here. This is following the Milanovic game. You have space advantage for black, but you're not really happy that, you know, white traded off your white square bishop. Now black's stuck with a kind of bad bishop. So at the end of the day, it's actually not that bad. Zvonimir Mestrovic, again, 1990. You know, the Knight C6 master. That's basically like he's the Obi-Wan Kenobi of Yabatis. Our friend Spectacular Camel's Obi-Wan Kenobi. Anyone who plays Knight C3 or Knight C6 has to know the games of Mestrovic. Okay, Bishop E6, Knight F3, F6, and now C3, D3. Whoops. And so this must be some sort of Fuchsia secret analysis here. This is your secret analysis, D3. Interfering with white's development. Jim says no.
N-O.
You just killed his bishop. Oh my god. This is when it, you know, that's when you get that sinking feeling when you're everything's okay, and then you realize in one moment that You know, there's something not okay with this position. Oh snap. So like white now like sacks a piece out of desperation. Knight takes e5. And these might be correspondence games. I mean, maybe not. I don't recognize these names. Mats Larson. I'm sorry. These got to be correspondence games. Yeah. Knight e5, fe5, queen h5 check. This is like a good opening for correspondence games because they like to play openings where the openings are not that well explored. So something like the Dunst is a good thing for correspondence, like thematic tournaments. Basically, black here has compensation. I mean, white has compensation for the piece. Wow. So, Jim, it's not that clear. You're only just tapping into... You're just tapping into the surface, you know, of correspondence theory here, it looks like, after 95. And that's the only move that... That's the only move that might cause d3 some kind of problem. Well, he played queen a4 check, and now he's just helpless. So it's like the last hope. The other move they tried is knight h4. You know, I don't think this even is a threat. I mean, your threat is queen f3, essentially. Okay. So there's this guy. He's continuing to try to play this in correspondence chess. c5. Mats Larson. Get a new opening, man. Give it up. Mats. So this doesn't work, huh? Queen a4 check. Knight c6. And now queen b5. Somebody has too much free time in his hands. c4. Queen takes b7. Knight ge7. And black is better. Mats lost twice. I think that's about the point where, for me, like, correspondence chess really became uninteresting, you know. 2006. I was never into it, but I think if I had been, I would have quit around 2006. Anyway, alright, let's see what happens. So the guy did queen a4 check. He confused variations against Jim. He probably remembered, like, oh wait, there was queen a4 check, but that's a different position. I heard that somewhere. Riesling affects your memory, Fuchsia, in particular. That's the wine that they call it, the memory eraser. No, I'm just kidding. c4. Knight a6. Man, knight a6 is a pretty move. That's what the engine wants to play. Alright, what did Jim do? Knight a6. Jim did play knight a6. Oh no, he first played h5. Alright, he's trying to mix everything. A little bit of everything. Winning a piece would be nice, but you're not trying to win a piece directly. This is thematic. Wow. So he like sacked a pawn for positional pressure. Oh my god, knight b4. Yeah, this queen, I had a game once with the queen on b1 in a structure like this. I lost when I was a 2000 player in 1900. It was horrible. This is looking like a lot of holes all over the position. Nice compensation for black here. Okay, he's not dead though. He can get his knight where he doesn't lose it. You let white sort of stay alive there. This is a huge concession. Does anyone feel knight d4, queen d4, queen d4, knight c2 check coming on? Yeah. So this is Jim's big point. You know, this nasty little tactic there with queen takes d4. I don't know what white's supposed to do. Oh no, what is white supposed to do? a3. Yeah. A3 refutes Jim's whole game, essentially. But it's the spirit of the thing was good. In spirit, I like the way that you played, Jim, and maybe like it had some flaw, but I don't like trading the bishop for that knight here. I think that you can do better in this position. Just kick it out. I mean, with like g6 and going bishop c5 or something like that. But this looks really promising, I would think. Oh, a3. He's still hanging in there, isn't he? I mean, maybe here we have to find a better move if we have time. Maybe we already screwed up. According to the engine, like, you already screwed up. Your best move is bishop takes f5. This is your best line. So he's just okay with a3. Alright, interesting game, man. Thanks for submitting this. Yeah, I mean, for some reason, I'm like thinking about king d1. Because I want my rook to not get shut out of the game. But, you know, it's like you'll probably never get to move your knight anyway. The compensation looks pretty serious here. He's basically playing with the jailed bishop, jailed rook, jailed rook. All these pieces can't get in the game. White is strategically lost. Too slow. This is a sweet move, h3. Very, very beautiful. Undermining the white squares. Yeah, that's beautiful too. Because, I mean, there's no knight f3, queen g4 check. So f3, he just gave up. He had enough. But, I mean, white should probably try, you know, f3 and play a couple more moves in this position. I mean, clearly he's lost, though. He's like, paralyzed with no pieces that can move. You know, he can't move any of the pieces anywhere, essentially. So the pawn, like, just severs his position in half. I mean, that's the interesting theme of this game. Okay, guys, I'm getting kind of tired. We're working on 6 games to go, but we've only got about 50 minutes left. So we'll take a deep breath and ask you guys to support the stream. It's getting cold in here too. We got the windows open. Temperature dropped down about 10 degrees since yesterday. I'm streaming from the United States. I'm in Massachusetts, USA. Hopefully this fall I'll be able to move back to Budapest, trying to sell my house. I have someone who's interested in buying my house. If you're interested in buying my house, let me know. But all right, back to the next game. We've got Save a Dog. Save a Dog. Hi, I added new game. Thursday stream. I played, oh, just now. All right, so this is like a live game. Wait, that's the old game? Yeah. All right, so here's the new game versus Ed Harris. Save a Dog versus Ed Harris. Wasn't Ed Harris one of the characters from like Barney Miller, the old TV show? Who is Ed H? Secret name? No, I'm thinking of somebody else. There's no Ed Harris. I'm just making it up. Ed H. Okay. Knight f3, f5. I love f5. You know, I wish everybody played f5 when I played knight f3. This is probably like my favorite move to face. This is the only, what was it? I mean, there's some players who literally won't play the Dutch against knight f3 because they're terrified of the. Well, I mean, first of all, you can play e4, but this is okay for black more or less. But d3, I mean, this move just kicks ass. Look at the statistics here; it's ridiculous. You should really play d3. Extremely strong move. I want to credit like Grandmaster Tibor Fogarashi, who is a long-time contributor to New in Chess yearbooks and just New in Chess articles. He's written a lot of theoretical articles over the years. I saw Tibor playing this way back, and he's not even a regular knight f3 player. d3 is just brutal. It's like a kind of deferred. If black knows exactly what they're doing, they're okay, but they have to know like exactly. So he just plays g3. There's nothing wrong with this. Okay, g3, knight f6, c4, but you're going to transpose to something normal. So it's like a Stonewall Dutch / classical Dutch versus the English. Knight c3. See, I don't know. This is Simon Williams stuff now. Black obviously can play this, try to play the Stonewall with d5. I mean, that seems like d3 to play e4. Yeah, it's the best move for white after knight f3. I mean, it's almost like it almost refutes the Dutch, but it's not really the Dutch. Like knight f3, f5 should almost have a different name. You know, it's not really the Dutch. White did not play d4. If you don't play d4, black can't play the Dutch. You know, so whatever it is, it's like the pseudo, you know, I don't know, neo Lisitsyn Gambit or something like that. You know, I had this game where this one guy I annihilated. He did something crazy, like it's unbelievable. I'll show you. It was like a 2300 player literally played this against me. I thought he lost his mind. It was knight f6, e4, pawn takes pawn, pawn takes pawn, knight takes e4, bishop d3. And here I'm sitting there like waiting for him to play like d5 or knight f6. You know, I'm not sure what, you know, what is he going to do? d5 or knight f6? And he goes here. And my game is not in the database, okay? Because it was played in like the Budapest Team Championship 2 years ago. But I mean, this position, I was sitting there, I was like, this is ridiculous. You know, like there's no way that this guy can play this. You know, I couldn't believe it. You know, he got annihilated. It was brutal. This is not healthy for black. Like, look at your king on this diagonal. There's no way this is okay for black. It's unbelievable that someone could even attempt to play that way with black. But anyways, all right, back to the game. So black can play the Stonewall here. And, sorry, we're not going to get that. But if black were to play d5, the problem here, you know, is that, okay, black's bishop is normally more active on d6. That's the standard type position, but here it doesn't matter because white's not threatening b3, bishop a3, like trading off the dark squared bishops, like a positional idea. Another misnomer is that knight c3 is always bad for white in the Stonewall Dutch. Traditionally, great anti-Dutch players like Petrosian would always play knight on bd2, and the knights would go on this path like knight f3, knight fd2, knight df3, knight d3, etc. Knight c3 is actually pretty good. You can play this line. I like this for white, and I think this is actually like a really kind of good way to play. Maybe like queen c2, or you know, castles followed by castle c6, queen c2. This, I think, is a promising variation for white. You do like a minority attack with b4, b5. Anyway. Alright, so d6, it's the annoying Simon Williams Dutch. d4, castles, queen c2. So queen c2 is interesting here from Save a Dog. I don't know why this position is freaking me out. Queen c2 should be normal, but it actually makes a lot of sense. This move is really interesting because you're playing this first thoughtfully, eliminating the castle's 94 variation from black's repertoire. I faced this like numerous times. This is the line that I played quite a bit, like knight takes c3, b takes c3. But it's also possible to take with the queen, and that's like a queen's Indian or something. Actually, yeah, unlike the Sveshnikov, I actually know quite a bit about this. So d4, this is a nice move by Save a Dog. Is there anything he can do against that queen on c2? Yeah, it looks like black has to be well prepared here with Simon. Simon says. A sex appointment, Bob. No, never make sex appointments. Generally it's more sort of, you know, whenever, you know, whenever. I don't make appointments. Yeah. Don't use credit cards either. Interesting question though. Very appropriate. Queen c2. Bob's on a kind of warning in the red zone. Queen c2, c6 here. What is c6? Man, that's a weird move now. No, I mean it looks like queen e8. Clearly. You see here there's a game by Bassem Amin, who's one of the who's one of the only people crazy enough to play this opening for black. It's funny that there's no, it's ironic that there's no Simon Williams games here, right? But I don't understand, Arsenal fan. I mean, this just drops a pawn, doesn't it? I mean, I don't understand what I'm missing. You're just dropping a pawn, dude. I mean, I think that's got to be... Nice suggestion, but I don't get it. You know, I mean, obviously, if he could play e5, he would. This move is ugly, though. Yeah, d takes what? After queen c2, e5, h4. Wow, welcome to Coffee House Land. What can I get? Can I get your order? Oh my god, man. You should go work at Starbucks. I mean, that's good for 1 minute chess, definitely. I'm not having any of that stuff. c6 looks awkward. So you gotta do something else. This would make sense. There's these tender little squares here. With the queen, you know, on c2. Gavain Jones. Stanimir Nikolic. One of my victims from the New York Open. An old New York Open victim of mine. But, yeah, black's got to find something better. c6 doesn't look right. It looks slow. Castles. So you can do something more incisive here with white than castles? Not really. Yeah, I mean, obviously you could play e4, right? And what happens if you pull the trigger? Stupid question, but I mean, since you play queen c2, what happens if we follow through? That's the move that you're supposed to be playing against this Ilgin Janevsky variation or whatever it's called. The whole point of queen c2 should be to execute your, you know, e4 break. And he doesn't have any of these fancy tricks with queen e8 and queen g6 and all that. You know, he hasn't even got there yet. He played c6. But e4 has got to be strong. I had a game with like Stuk, one of our viewers, something similar to this. The computer is thinking black's not that bad here. Interesting. This is Arsenal fan style. Stockfish down with the dubious pawn sack. Wow. What am I talking about? Yeah, dubious pawn sack takes bishop f5. Peter says you have compensation. I would take it, you know, see what I end up with. Interesting. So that seems consequent. Interesting. Let me understand this now. Oh my god. Okay, guys, we got 40 minutes left. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 games where this position has been played at the master level. I mean, nobody good playing black. There's a game with Kolev with white and Gunina with white, but no one good with black. Okay, and when I say good, I mean like, you know, at least around 2400. Black's seriously playing d5 in this position, the tempo down. Man, that's desperate. So 2350 is trash, dude. I want my title taken away. I don't deserve to be an international master with that rating that I have. I'm ashamed of my rating. But I've been ashamed of my rating, you know, every time. I mean, since any time I'm under like 2375, I'm ashamed to wake up in the morning. But we just have to muddle through, and you know, I'm not a regular tournament player since really like the last 10 years. So I basically gave all my points away to little kids, Bob. You know, I just hand out draws like candy at Christmas. Here, little kid, have 2.5 rating points. Here, oh cute little boy, you know, here's a point. Oh, you, okay, here's a couple for you. Like, I'm Santa Claus, here, have some points. It's Christmas, you know, that's what I do. I just like play 11-year-old children in tournaments and just like agree to draws with them because I feel sorry for them and stuff. And I don't feel like playing. And that's what I did like in the last couple of years. I probably lost like 30 rating points like that. It doesn't matter. What's the difference if you're 2385 or 2395? What do you think, Bob? What's the difference? 2-3, you know, 239, 236, 235. These numbers mean something to me now. I mean, they didn't until recently, but you know, it started to have meaning to me. I mean, there's a big difference between 2-3, you know, 2390, 2400 is psychologically significant. Yeah. Anyway, all right, I'm off subject here. Rook e1. So we're gonna transpose to some kind of line, but he's played c6. Oh my God, what is that? Okay, d5. He's saying, okay, your rook is bad on e1. Anyway, I'm off track. I'm taking too much time in this one game. Rook e1 is misplaced, but d5 is a loss of time too, so we can screw that. You know, not worry about it. But c5 seems weird, so I think we should introduce Save-A-Dog to our backup plan, which is a minority attack on the queen side. Maybe we go with rook b1 here, and we try to execute what I was talking about before. I'm a little concerned, though. You know, this rook e1 could be a serious problem. Asterbay keeps insisting on breaking with the e5 pawn. Of course, it's a more natural break, man. But he never had it sufficiently protected. Because he played c6, you know. He didn't play knight c6 or something that protects e5. He physically doesn't have enough protection for e5. I mean, if you're going to play this sort of second-rate move, you're not going to get an e5. As you can see, like, knight c6 is one of the most common moves, supporting e5. Or you can play queen e8, which also, like, indirectly supports e5. Unfortunately, our hero here played c6, which has nothing to do with e5. Once John Curto did something like this against me, but it was more of like a Leningrad, and like put his queen here, something totally random. Even that's like attempting to play for control of e5. But I mean, when you put nothing, you know, in the vicinity of e5, you can't really break with e5. That's the answer. So he decides to play this, but this is funny because now the rook is really misplaced here, and I think that we could have problems with f2. So not only from the like offensive standpoint, this actually does seem kind of annoying. White's going to have to completely change his plan. So he plays c5. All right. I don't really like locking it up, but we'll do what you have to do. Do what we have to do. Knight e4. And now, you got to ask yourself, Save-A-Dog, what would Feigl do? Or Petrosian, or any kind of great like positional player. I mean, my first temptation here is to play knight e5. Try to play f3. Again, our rook is misplaced on e1. Or Jeff Bridges. Or Charlton Heston. What's up, move 11? What would Charlton Heston do? Knight d2. Knight d7. What was the $6 million man again? What would he do? What would the $6 million man do? Buy more eBay items. We need like subliminal advertising. Alright, knight e4, knight d2. Yeah, I hate knight d2. I don't want to play knight d2. The engine actually says takes a knight e5, which is weird, you know, considering the f file opens up. I would definitely vote for knight e5. Alright. So here. This is like a second rate. It's a poor man's knight e5, basically. Knight d7. Oh no, you did all that to play knight takes e4? Are you gonna seriously? Okay, you're gonna take and play f3? That's weird. I mean, why not just play f3? Is this not good? He's gonna get in e5? Yeah, apparently. He's gonna get in e5. I mean, that's why we're hurting here. We gave up control of e5 with knight d2, and that's... See, if you did knight e5 and he plays knight d7, you have various options. I mean, you could play f4, you could play bishop f4, you could play knight d3, like just pulling the knight back and kind of maintaining a surveillance of e5. When you play this move, knight d2, you're seriously giving up e5. Sorry, back. So knight d2. You have glasses, Mr. Coffee? Knight takes e4 here and f3. Okay. Obviously the rook might be in the wrong place. Of course, if black... Black is is cooperative here and plays f takes, or e takes f. We get the e file. So this got interesting. Undermining your c5 pawn. Yeah. This game was worthy of study. I mean, I think the white... It'll take a while to get the hang of playing the white side of the stone wall, but this was not optimal. Sorry? Excuse me? Can we try to take the pawn on c5? Huh. I guess in all variations it gets a little complicated. Like knight takes c5, knight takes d5. That's nice. White's slightly better, probably. And you could look at a variation like pawn takes pawn, bishop takes, queen c6, rook c1, and white just remains better. Slightly better. Maybe yeah, that's a good idea. Ridiculous, bishop f6. So you retain an advantage here in this type of line, like pretty much long term. Nicolas Cage. Oh, I can't stand Nicolas Cage. Okay, takes here. What was his best move, incidentally? Bishop takes c5. Bishop f6. He had equalized. My line isn't that bad. Knight takes c5, knight takes d5. C takes d5. Bishop takes c5. Okay, so here's the critical position. He doesn't play the stupid move queen c6, obviously. He just goes here. This would have equalized. He has to be careful. Okay. Note that your rook on e1 has to be left in a bad position. He has to make sure whatever happens, the rook on e1 doesn't play a real role in this game. So knight f6 here. Oh, goodness. Goodness me. Well, Mick says leaving Las Vegas was great. Yeah, that's probably... It's not too many good movies Nicolas Cage played in. Queen b3. He's not known for being in... Queen b3, king h8. And now it's just basically a pawn down. Alright, so we're clear pawn up now. An important pawn. And black doesn't really have even Arsenal fan style compensation here. But it is, you know, with the knights off, it's always a little bit trickier. Just plays solid. Yeah, at the end of the day, we're just 3-on-2 on the queen side. We make a queen, basically. 3 pawns against 2. Nothing fancy. Fuchsia. Fuchsia loves something. Nice to see a positive comment. Wild at heart. Alright, bishop d7. Queen b7. Rook e8. Queen takes d5. So we're just collecting pawns. The pawn collector. That's a lot of pawns now. 3 on 1. Queens. No, 4 on 1. Like, 4 on 1 majority. Yeah. Anyway, it's over. Alright. But I think a lot of questions remain here for this game, Save a Dog, about the opening and the early stage of the middle game. Most, importantly, ending up in the Stonewall Dutch type situation with a knight on c3 is tricky to play. Like, secondly, the decision to play c5. And what's the best move there if not c5? Yeah, this is over. Okay, this is over, guys. We got Mule Skinner up next. Merle, good 40%. We'll see how many games we can do. All right, let's not forget I got a lesson after the stream, guys. So I have to leave in time. b3 instead of c5. No, the queen was on b3. No, it was on c2. You're right, Uber driver. It didn't go to b3 till he was just winning. It's always a bit weird to play b3 when you don't have a fianchetto. I think one thing I should mention is that when you're playing against the Stonewall Dutch, I mean, generally for black, it's like really awkward to attempt to like play d takes c4. I'm not sure it's really ever necessary to defend the pawn on c4 in a lot of cases. Okay, Mule Skinner. Where's the Skinner? Sorry, it was 3 plus 2. Oh, this is fast time control. Here's the study, 3 plus 2. Oh, let me go back. The game shows a nice opening trap, which I thought might be interesting for the viewers. Won me many games here on lichess. Okay, this is 3 plus 2. How many more to myself, if we even make it there? Mathematic chess. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can add that up, right? Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'm going to get to Arsenal. We've only got 25 minutes left. You know, we're lucky if we get in 4. That would be the last one. Well, Arsenal, you're always late, man. You're as bad as Takeback. Takeback was so late, he's not even here, you know? Okay, Mule Skinner. So, e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop b5. Mule Skinner is white, I guess. Oh, this is all the rage now. You know, I like queen e2 just to avoid book. But d3 is objectively like the better way to decline the pawn. I mean, you know, decline the Berlin. Going into the Berlin endgame. It's difficult. Thursdays I'm not working, playing league chess. But Arsenal, you just have to submit your game earlier. But you want to actually be here to watch it. Yeah. I mean, it's better just to watch the replay. Submit the game and then watch the replay. You don't actually have to be present, you know, to submit a game. Keep that in mind. You know, some people submit games and then they just watch the replay. I don't think you bothered to make the stream today, you know. C3, D6, D4. Okay. This is weird. So let's pay attention. D3, bishop C5, C3, and now D6. It looks like move order here for black is probably important. C3 is a mistake. What? Bob. Bob's piping up. Pipe down, Bob. Know your role and stay in your lane, okay? Your lane is trolling, Bob. Stay in your lane, man. C3. C3 is the most classic move of all time. It's just the creepy slow Gioco Piano, man. Gioco Pianissimo. This is the way you're supposed to play here. But looks like a little more aggressive for black to leave that pawn hanging, because what do? Like, take the pawn on e5? I mean, this is extremely dangerous. B takes, try to take this. Yeah, good luck with that. It reminds me of a game I saw. Chigorin versus, like, I don't remember now. It was like a British player. It had a funny name from the 1800s. This guy, like, was dragging Chigorin around where he tried to grab this pawn. I mean, this is exceedingly dangerous for white to try to grab this pawn because of the e-file. D5, cracking the center. There's like bishop a6. Sometimes the bishops, you get this like Morphe bishops just like raking those two diagonals. Okay, Mathematic Chess, thanks for hanging out. But if I have time, I'll still go over the game. Wow, no mercy. So knight takes e5. What a jerk. All right, anyway, you know a lot. Knight f3, yeah, this is too dangerous to try to take that pawn. I like castles. Astrobate, don't share that stuff. Put Astrobate. I just blamed Astrobate for someone else. HTFP, we don't need to encourage Bob like that. We really, that's too much information, man. Too much information. D6, D4. E takes D4. C takes D4, bishop B4 check. Okay, so this is some sort of line. Hare Krishna. They're trying to punish the old D6 move order. So it's like a trap. I mean, that's my message to people who do play this Gioco Pianissimo sort of type of position. That's the way that all these top players who play this line and the real Gioco Pianissimo seem to win. It's always like, it's about playing D4 in a later moment. So Mule Skinner's later moment is right now. It's interesting. This looks like it has mixed results at the top level, though. Even though it scores 56%, it's funny. Black has 2.5 out of 3 in the 3 top games. White has a half point out of 3. That's disturbing. I mean, Kuprejcik versus Kaidanov, it's like ancient history. But the other two, like Hare Krishna couldn't win, and Freycinet actually lost against Bacro. And that's a recent game. So this isn't clear. Mule Skinner called it a trap. C takes d4, bishop b4 check, king f1. Following Kuprejcik. Always a good path, right? So as Arsenal fan, like bishop d2 is the sounder move. But Mule Skinner is playing Kuprejcik style. Very famous Ukrainian grandmaster who passed away like 2 years ago. He was like legendary for his tactical style. He also contributed a lot of interesting ideas in the openings. I knew this crazy Polish blitz player, Bogdan Holownia. He was a concert pianist, but he was an extremely good blitz player. Anyway, his favorite player, he was this crazy tactician, and Kuprejcik was like his idol, you know, because Kuprejcik was so creative. But King F1, it's like you're playing like it's a, you know, Evans Gambit or something. Right. And so, yeah, we're threatening to play D5, maybe. Though even there you have A6 in some lines. Castles, Queen A4. Threatening to win a piece now. And that's the point. Safarli got this in a tournament game against the 2440. Wow. This Azeri Grandmaster Safarli is kind of interesting style player. A lot of creative openings and stuff. So Chris, Casper not in good shape here. Look, Ma, no bishop. What are you going to do now? A5? That's nasty. So D5. Wait. Someone tried D5? No. What about D5? Just drops a piece. This is a nice try. queen d7, because if bishop c6, queen c6, queen b4, queen c1, you know, I mean, obviously, it's not really a nice try. It's not a big deal, but it's at least a try. What did Casper do? Queen e8, similar. And he neatly wraps up a piece there. Queen e4, knight c3, queen e3 check, king g1. And this is Safari. Safari. At the Grandmaster level, I mean, you know, black has only 2 pawns for a piece here. You know, a weaker player might have screwed this up, but Safari took him down. Yeah, it's a nice trap. Queen d7 is a new move. D5, a6, pawn takes, and this just simply wins a piece. Yeah, that's, he takes the knight. That's just wrong, Mule Skinner. That's just wrong. Ugh, unforgivable. He played knight, c8 knight. You know, if I'm, you know, if I was black here, I would have half a mind to play rook e8, you know. I think I would play rook e8 to just troll Mule Skinner at this point. I would be insulted by knight. Yeah, c8 knight. That's just rude. I would play rook e8. Wow, that didn't work. Just drops a piece. Oh my god. Alright, so it's just a piece up. Piece out. And Mule Skinner is taking this down. Not enough compensation. It's 1 pawn for a piece here. He has screwed up some winning positions in the past. Threatening bishop b4. Yeah, still not quite enough to resign. That's awkward to have to pin yourself. Man, black was being annoying here. Persistently not resigning. And this is 3+2. This reminds me of one of my opponents on the stream a lot. That's over, though. Black was being pesky. Fun game, though. Eventually, this is over. Digesting too many pawns is good for your health. Alright. Yeah, that was great, Bob. Thank you. Merle's up, good 40%. Alright, guys, we have like 15 minutes left. A couple more games. So Merle, the Earl. Dear Master, please comment on the opening phase of the game. Tom versus Merle. Master Tom. Go really fast for the rest of the game. You want me to comment the opening? It took me forever to scroll through like all the options and find the setting or whatever. And I still drew. Remember that? Like I ended up like I didn't even win anyway. You know, that was dumb. I think it was like a winning position, but I still didn't convert it. Alright, guys. Merle is playing the King's Indian. I didn't know Merle played the King's Indian. It's freaking freezing in here. Man, the temperature has dropped like 15 degrees in the last like 2 hours since I started streaming. Alright. It's gone from like 70 degrees to 50. Bishop e2, knight on bd7. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a fan of this variation. And knight bd7 without castling is definitely unusual. It almost looks like you're trying to induce white to play f4. So, years ago, but no prep. I have never had a good score against this Averbach variation for black. So there was the funny tournament where I tied for first in US Class Championship. It was like 1994, 1995, I guess, 95, and that was a tournament where I like lost the first round to to Sam Palatnik, and withdrew from the tournament because I drank too much in the lobby of the hotel before the first round because I was bored, and I got there early and I thought like I was going to play like a 2100, but instead got paired with the Grandmaster. Lost because I drank too much. Withdrew from the tournament, came back the next day, entered the same section like in the 2-day schedule, and then got paired with Sam Palatnik again. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. I mean, this is ridiculous, you know? So I played the same tournament, like re-enter, the same color against Palatnik, and then I managed to miraculously like draw like a 80 move endgame in a king and pawn endgame where I was hanging on by a thread. I've told this story before, like Josh Whiteskin was in his prime back then. He was standing there like looking at my endgame. He was the only one. Everyone left the room and thought I was going to lose. And Whiteskin was like staring at the board. I was like, well, what is he looking at? Like, go away. You know, I don't want anybody to like watch me lose this king and pawn endgame. And it turns out that like I think that Whiteskin like realized, you know, that I wasn't losing. And that sort of clued me into the fact that I wasn't losing. And otherwise, like I might have given up. But actually, the fact that someone was interested in the position encouraged me to like really dig deeper and find a saving move. Anyway, so that was an Averbach King's Indian. That was the point of my story, that I actually played the same variation against the same guy in the same tournament twice, and improved on the first game to the point where I was able to draw after losing horribly in the first game. Anyway, so knight d7 not great. I mean, you should basically castle here, and then you can choose what to do. Castles followed by, you know, bishop g5, and c5 is main line. But if you want to play knight a6, you can lose like I lost against Alexander Shabalov, or you can play h6. This is what I played against Palatnik. The main line is c5. You know, that's probably the main line for a reason. Basically, there are some experimental things you can try, maybe like a Soltis sort of thing with like c6 and a6, but I'm not sure. So this is awkward. You may just transpose though. I mean, this to me is the big question, really, right? Is should white play like bishop e3 or something like that, or bishop g5, you know, or f4? I mean, honestly, f4. What are you doing here? You know, what is this? Some kind of weird... It's like a weird four pawns attack now. I mean, I don't know. You know, to me that seems kind of weird. I don't know what you're going to do. You're going to play e5, de, and then play this. We could transpose to some kind of knight a6. A knight a6 pawn avalanche. Pawn avalanche. Anyways, knight d7 is definitely weird. Okay, I mean, knight f3 though. I mean, you're just, this is sort of stupid. I mean, white's just transposing to classical King's Indian, which is completely okay, obviously, for black. You're not casting any doubt on black's setup by playing knight f3 here. I mean, I think that the question is really bishop g5. What does the engine say? It likes knight f3 all the same, but I mean, you know, this seems like the greater, you know, Nevnichi Vaida. Vaida has a tendency to play some weird stuff, especially with black. Here, knight f3, okay, c5, so you're just playing a weird move order. I've never looked at this. You don't want to play the Benoni with your knight on d7, I can assure you. So after d5, I think you need to try some sort of b5. Go Benko or go home. Otherwise, you've got a really bad Benoni. But it looks like white has e5 in this position. This has never been tested at all. Totally new position. e5. That might be strong, you know, because the knight... I mean, I would assume you take, right? Take, knight g4, and then e6. Ouch. This normally happens in the e5 positions, but here... this is a problem. So takes knight g5. Goodbye. Nice knowing you. That looks really, really nasty. I've seen this happen where black, black plays an e5 type of structure, but never with a c5 really. Yeah, that's a problem. That's funny though. There's two games neither player had the self-awareness to play e5. Kind of. Bishop e3. Castle. Okay, now e5 is not a problem. Serper versus Ibragimov. I mean, I don't know what Ildar was thinking that day, but whatever it wasn't really a good idea. This is definitely not great for black. We're gonna get like a second-rate. It looks like we're gonna get a second-rate Marazzi at best. Castles, yeah, b6. This is just bad. I've told Asterbait Merle can join him at the back of the room, writing on the chalkboard. I will never play c5 and b6 in the Benoni again. I will never play c5 and b6. You know, in the whatever it is, Queen's Indian again. I mean, this is just another bad Benoni after b6. It's like hideous for black. I would just say d5, and white has a huge game here. At least Merle's bishop's on c8 already, because Asterbait would have to like retreat his back from b7 to c8. You know, that'll cost another tempo to bring it back. Yeah, maybe white should wait. Maybe white's right to wait, but if he waits, you can take on d4, and Merle should take on d4 right away here. I mean, this is clearly our best chance. We're just playing the Marazzi with our knight on d7 instead of on c6. But that's got to be better than a bad Benoni, you know, I think. My opinion, you know. I have no idea what Ildar was thinking when he played that defense for black against Serper. Maybe it was a friendly draw or something. I have no idea. That's just weird. Anyway, I don't think Ibragimov even plays the King's Indian or the Benoni, so something's up with that game. Castles, b6, e5. Oh, anyways. Probably not quite as dangerous now, you know, so yeah. Nothing to see here, folks. 93. Everything's okay now. We have free dark square bishop. All the chips you can eat. No problem. Yeah, everything's out of. We're out of the woods completely for black here. It looks like. Just have a great dark square bishop. Nothing else to see here, guys. Yeah, just this is silly. White just completely missed the boat. No problem anymore. He tried, but it's futile to resist. Merle. Deposit knight here. How much is the deposit on that knight? Oh, that's creative. So he wanted an ops color bishop in game. Here I would consider taking with the pawn and playing f5. Honestly. Like, this is the better move, dude. Isn't that amazing? Like, pawn takes f6, fixing your pawn structure. Not that deep, though. The pawn structure is really important there. Anyway, guys, we don't have much time left, so I'm going to move on. We got the opening done. Last game, it looks like good 40%. I'm not going to get to math or Arsenal today. Good 40%, though, submitted his game in time. Good subscriber. Game from over the board team match. Quite interesting one, to be fair. Time control 75. I play black. 75-10. I play black. Okay. So flip it up. Yep. There we go. Oh god, this is what I get to look at from the last game. The London system. Yes. Bishop f4. I'm on down with c5 if you want to go for that. Yeah, I can't play bishop f5. I can't. I don't play the Slav. But it's okay. I prefer, you know, play c5. Obviously, it depends on your opening repertoire, what you're going to play here. But if you are a Slav defense player, then this move is reasonable. Not my thing, though. Bishop f5, c4. Bang. And now there's like a dog barking outside. I thought it was a human. Okay, so c6 is the normal approach, I guess, to meet. c6 to meet queen b3 with queen b6, I suppose. But not a fun line. It looks like very unpleasant for black. So e6. This is a better score. Is this where we try to like sack a pawn or something with knight c6? Actually, maybe we should ask Richard Palliser. No. Knight c3. Knight f3 is not an incisive move here. I mean, knight c3 and queen b3, these moves are far more aggressive because we're putting pressure on black's position. Funny that Fuchsia said Svitzer Sile is Caracan player. I mean, they're similar structurally, obviously. Maybe it's not that similar. I like the Caracan, but I don't really like the Slav. Same thing. Uber Driver mentions bishop takes b1. Yes. This is Magnus. I thought Magnus had a game here. I don't see it. It's not exactly this position. You see, I guess the position can arise like this, like knight f3, c6, c4. This is similar line. Was it this? Bishop takes. I thought there was a game with queen takes b1. No, there's no Carlsen game though. In a very analogous position, Carlsen has a game. I'm not quite sure about the move order. Yeah, that idea exists. White takes with the queen. Just to answer that comment, white takes with the queen, and then on some sort of check. This doesn't make sense though. White has b4. That's absurd. Okay, so e6 is in. How do we get that in? Okay, e6, c4 here. Bishop takes b1, queen b1. Right. Oh, there's our Carlsen games. All right, so this is it. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you take and now bishop b4 check. And this is good for white. Yeah. Pretty good for white. It looks like queen takes b1 and on check you play king d1. And the idea is to play bishop d3, king e2, you know, rook d1, and you walk back on the white squares to impunity land. It looks, you know, it's all just a flash in the pan. Black has a check, but then like he has no control of the white squares, and the white king just walks away to the other side of the board to safety. Yeah, great line for white actually. So bishop takes b1, not surprisingly, not a great move. And now it looks like good 40% play bishop d6, which isn't a, you know, it's not an unreasonable move. I don't like bishop takes b1. So, you know, if it were my game, I probably would play like c6 and take my chances here with a slightly passive setup. Looks like you transposed to Kamsky Sarowan. What is that, like Yasser's last rated game or something? Must have been a high prize fund. US Championship San Diego 2006, perhaps, something like that. They had some tournaments in San Diego. My last US Championship was like 2003. And then they moved it to San Diego when they lost the sponsorship. Not easy to get Sarowan to play in a tournament. c6, knight c3, queen c7. This is weird. There's no reason to play queen c7. Just castle here. Definitely not playing queen c7. That's a waste of time. Okay, so knight h4. Interesting move by white. He's going to try to grab that bishop. It's debatable, you know, whether knight h4 is a great move. I think the black should probably consider bishop e4, inducing white to weaken himself, or just simply, you know, the most natural move is like bishop g6. he does bishop b4 here. That's very appropriate, considering the queen's on c7. So actually, it's a thoughtful move, being that the f3 can't be played. White's gonna have to take that. This is weird. Interesting game. Bishop b4 is a nice idea. Guys, we're gonna have to take off. Obviously, white wasted time there. Black went out on a tangent with knight to g4. I think you just gotta be solid here. It's a Slav, you know. Knight g4 is something that we see from Masturbates sometimes. He gets like unprincipled, you know. It's still the opening. What is this? Move 11? Move 11. Imagine that. Knight g4, it's like, dude, you haven't even castled or connected your rooks or brought your king to a safe position. I think this is a little bit, coffee house. You need to be a bit more principled. I mean, this knight is doing an important function, controlling the center. I don't like knight g4. It's getting. You're not developing. It's still early in the game. You still need to complete your development. Knight e4, pawn e4. I'm not sure this is white's best continuation. Now you have 3 pawn for a piece sacrifice, which is definitely legit. The way he played this was inaccurate, and now black has interesting play for the piece. Yeah, definitely. This is totally viable now. I think that the 3 pawns are more dynamic than the piece in this situation, so black absolutely can play this for a win. I'm not really sure who's better, but rook d8, why not just castle queenside at that point? Looks like a Karo Khan, Fuchsia. Man, I mean, castle's queenside, your king is sort of safe. You have stuff like 95. That's what he's trying to do with rook d8, I guess. It's also interesting. 95 anyway. Queen d2. And queen g3. Okay. We got to watch out for rook h3 here. Whoops. I mean, I think you can play the endgame, and you've got 3 pawns for a piece. So black should more or less be okay. Queen f4, e3. So like queen f4 check here, e3. That's too easy. I mean, black has no other pieces developed. I really doubt that's a big problem. Again, black's down a piece, but also he's down rooks. He has no development. I think he needs to I would keep the pawn back within reach and try to just play. I wouldn't mind the endgame either after queen e2. This endgame should be perfectly okay for black, I would think. Your king is actually in the center, which is great for the endgame. You can take advantage of the fact of that king position, very much so. I think I'd rather be black in this position. Let's see. The engine doesn't agree. The engine thinks that white is slightly better. But that doesn't mean that objectively, white is going to do well in an over-the-board situation. Maybe a computer, but I think I'd rather be black and have a 5-on-1 majority on the king side in an endgame, 4-on-1, whatever you want to call it. I think I'd prefer black here, practically. Okay, guys, I gotta go. It was a good game. Let's see the end here. This is pretty much... No, that's not the game. Queen g3. Rook h3, queen g6, queen e3. So you kept the queens on the board. And your queen's a little awkward. Your king's still in the center. This is awkward. Yeah, it's stupid for white to trade queens. Totally. He's crushing you now in the middle game. He did what, he helped you do what you should have done before, which was trade queens. Look at those pawns. Oh my goodness. It's a pawn sandwich. It's a lot of pawns. It's a massive structure. Thanks, guys, for the support. So white really missed his chance to keep the queens on. And now you're back into that good endgame. Really nice structure. 2 connectors. Very powerful. King centralized. That's good. You know, it's difficult to play this kind of position perfectly. Nice job with king e6 though. I really like the king here. Great play. Wow, impressive, impressive. So he blunders here. Knight h5, knight g3. The king is a monster. Really nice play with the king, man. Fortunately, he blundered there. Got the king kind of stuck in a dangerous situation. And now luck's out. But I mean, the spirit of the thing was good. You were playing actively with your king in an endgame. You're not fearful. Unfortunately, you know, it looks like you had screwed it up to the point where you were lost at some point. Then get lucky and win anyway. You could almost get mated here, but you go on to win. Okay, guys, thank you for the games. I gotta go. Late for my appointment. I will see everybody tomorrow. Blitz at 5:30 p.m. ET here on lichess and Twitch. Thanks, guys, for the support. Thanks for the donations. Those last bit donations, acerbate. Everybody, we'll see you, Mr. Coffee. Thank you. 5:30 Friday Blitz and Rap Chess here on lichess. Have a great night. Bye-bye.